How low can you go? Can you go down low? How low can you go, Indiana Fever? Jeez, you guys have just turned this organization into a flat out joke. All of a sudden, Sophie Cunningham is hurt. All of a sudden, her elbow's messed up. Y'all smell that? Smells like BS. It smells like some punishment is being served out to Sophie Cunningham.
Buddy, sit down and get ready, because the WNBA is reportedly facing one of the most shocking and emotional situations in league history. Behind closed doors, far from the bright lights, cameras, and roaring crowds, the Indiana Fever locker room is said to be falling apart. What we are witnessing is an emotional crisis unlike anything fans expected. If league officials fail to address the situation quickly, some reports claim the WNBA could risk losing a significant portion of its fan base. You may have thought this season was only about record-breaking performances and dominant victories, but it's become something much bigger. This story is about loyalty, betrayal, and, above all, sacrifice. According to leaked reports circulating online, head coach Stephanie White has allegedly made the difficult decision to suspend one of the emotional leaders of the Fever defense, Sophie Cunningham. However, before Coach White could quietly move past the growing controversy, Caitlin Clark, the face of the franchise and one of the league's biggest stars, reportedly stepped forward with an ultimatum that has everyone talking. Stay with us until the very end because we are breaking down the emotional moments, the growing controversy, and the alleged exchange where Caitlin Clark looked directly at her coach and reportedly declared, "If she goes, I go." Before we dive into those dramatic events, it's important to understand the strong connection between Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. From the moment Clark entered the league, everyone knew she would carry enormous expectations and become a constant target. Veteran players challenged her, opposing coaches built game plans around stopping her, and the physical play against her became relentless. Clark needed someone willing to stand beside her no matter the cost, someone unafraid to play tough basketball and protect the team's biggest star. That player was Sophie Cunningham. Whenever Caitlin absorbed a hard foul or became the target of aggressive play, Sophie was usually the first teammate to step in. She accepted the technical fouls, endured the physical punishment, and handled the hostile reactions from opposing crowds, including the loud boos in Portland. Through it all, she rarely complained. Instead, Sophie embraced the role of the league's villain in the eyes of opposing fans so she could be the ultimate teammate and protector for the Indiana Fever.
Is ridiculous. Look at the first comment, Evelyn. You guys are a clown organization. Here it says, Sophie hurt her elbow writing this for Stephanie White, didn't she? This is what Sophie Cunningham had. I will not pass to Caitlin again. I will not pass to Caitlin Clark again. This is what they forced Sophie Cunningham to do. Okay, that's how she hurt her elbow. CDS Sports, go rogue, win game, end up on injury report. Beatings will continue until morale improves. This is ridiculous, guys. This is ridiculous. Everybody knows this is clearly punishment for Sophie Cunningham. Chloe Peterson was the first to report on it. She said, Sophie Cunningham is questionable with a right elbow injury for tomorrow's game. She participated in the portion of practice open to the media this morning. Okay. And everybody knows every comment is that this is punishment. Look here, Sophie being put in timeout for speaking what's on her mind.
Behind the scenes, however, Sophie's relentless loyalty was reportedly creating serious tension within the coaching staff. According to various reports, head coach Stephanie White believed Sophie Cunningham was beginning to act independently of the team's strategy. Her relentless intensity, frequent technical fouls, and unwavering determination to protect Caitlin Clark were allegedly viewed by team officials as becoming more of a distraction than an advantage. The coaching staff reportedly wanted discipline, structure, and complete control. Sophie, on the other hand, seemed focused on one priority above everything else: protecting her point guard. That growing difference in philosophy is what many believe led to one of the most emotional chapters in Indiana Fever history. Sources described the atmosphere inside the Fever's practice facility on the morning of the alleged suspension as icy and emotionally draining. The tension was reportedly so overwhelming that it felt almost impossible to ignore. According to leaked accounts, Coach Stephanie White called Sophie Cunningham into the front office for an unexpected closed-door meeting. There were no teammates present, no advance warning, just a difficult and deeply emotional conversation. Insiders claimed Coach White informed Sophie that her actions were beginning to damage the team's public image. Despite the belief that Sophie had consistently stepped up to protect Caitlin Clark from the league's physical style of play, She was allegedly instructed to leave the team. Reports even suggested that an undisclosed indefinite suspension had been issued, with plans to tell the media that Sophie was away for personal reasons in order to avoid public backlash. Imagine the emotional weight of that moment. After sacrificing your body, reputation, and career to defend your team's biggest star, you're suddenly removed by the very organization you fought to protect. Witnesses alleged that Sophie left the office with tears in her eyes, quietly clearing out her locker before the rest of the team arrived. She reportedly didn't want to create a scene or become a distraction. Instead, she accepted the decision with the same quiet courage she had shown every time she absorbed a hard hit on the basketball court.
Is like the mafia. So everyone knows, it's clear as day that this is punishment for Sophie Cunningham. It's very, very, very obvious that this is punishment for Sophie Cunningham. The organization is a straight up clown show at this point. And then not only that, they have not addressed the smear campaign. They've gone out of their way to address any and everything else. They refuse to address the smear campaign led by Dan Dakich, who has been adamant about he's getting this information from the inside. Not only have they not addressed that, and he doubled down on it today. Dan Dakich was bombing again today. Stephanie White went on the same platform that took shots at Caitlin Clark and aired a hit piece. This is crazy. All of this is just flat out craziness. This Indiana Fever organization is a flat out joke. Sophie Cunningham is being punished for going rogue with Caitlin Clark, passing her the ball. You know they wanted that ball to go to Kelsey Mitchell. They didn't give a damn. That ball go to Kelsey Mitchell or come hell or high water. And that is what it is.
The coaching staff, however, allegedly made one critical mistake. They underestimated the unbreakable bond between the team's enforcer and its biggest superstar. According to reports, when Caitlin Clark arrived at the arena and noticed Sophie's locker sitting empty, the atmosphere inside the building instantly changed. A locker room attendant reportedly informed Clark about the alleged secret suspension, and in that moment, everything changed. This wasn't ordinary frustration. It was overwhelming heartbreak mixed with pure anger. Clark reportedly realized that the teammate who had consistently stood by her side, protected her, and absorbed countless physical battles on her behalf had allegedly been sacrificed to protect the team's public image. Without even putting on her shoes, Clark was said to have walked past her teammates, ignored the assistant coaches, and headed straight toward Coach Stephanie White's office with a level of determination no one had witnessed before. Witnesses outside the hallway claimed that, when Clark pushed open the office door, they heard one of the most emotional confrontations of the season. According to those accounts, Clark passionately declared, "She stood up for me every single time. Whenever they tried to knock me down, she was there. You're not taking away the person who has always had my back." The emotional intensity inside the room was reportedly overwhelming. Coach White allegedly attempted to explain that the decision had been made at the executive level and was intended to keep the team focused. Clark, however, reportedly refused to accept that explanation. She believed the organization had betrayed one of its most loyal players, and she understood the influence her own voice carried. Reports claim Clark then leaned across the desk, looked directly at her coach, and delivered an ultimatum that immediately ignited speculation across the basketball world. "Bring her back right now, or I'm walking out that door with her. If she goes, I go." According to the narrative, the impact of those words was immediate. News of the alleged confrontation reportedly spread through the organization within minutes, eventually reaching league officials and sparking widespread discussion throughout the WNBA.
Obvious that Dan Dakich is not lying about the information he's getting from within this organization as they refuse to address it. Dan Dakich doubled down on everything he said right here in this. He took the X. "Yo, G, damn it, hold on. Steph White is calling. Gotta go to work. Keep hating, keep stalking." So he's taking shots at the people that have been addressing him, adding on to the smear campaign that's going on against Caitlin Clark. It's ridiculous, but the fact of the matter is, you can't blame Dan Dakich. You can't blame him. He's not lying about where he's getting the information from, which is why the Indiana Fever is so hush and damn quiet about it. He's not lying. None of them are going to come out and call him a liar. None of them have stepped up to the plate to address the smear campaign that's being launched at Caitlin Clark. She's being targeted. They're not saying anything because it's coming from them. They've gone on to address everything else, whether it's people coming at them for the draft. Lynn Dunn went and called us all complainers. Stephanie White addressing the fans saying, hey, these games are boring as hell now. These games are boring. The product stinks now. You've come over here and ruined the product. The games are entertaining. She addressed that in last game's pregame podium. They've addressed everything. The Indiana Fever's Twitter handle or X handle put a post up after last game saying, are you not entertained? They've been addressing everything publicly but this, because they are in on it. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake about that at all. And then Stephanie White, shout out to Mick Talks Hoops.
Let's look at the bigger picture, buddy. According to this narrative, league officials understand exactly what is driving the WNBA's current surge in popularity. Packed arenas, record-setting television ratings, soaring merchandise sales, and unprecedented fan engagement are all said to be fueled by Caitlin Clark's popularity and the excitement surrounding the Indiana Fever. The argument being made is that if Caitlin Clark were to refuse to take the court in protest of Sophie Cunningham's alleged suspension, the financial consequences for the league could be enormous. Commentators, sports analysts, and marketing experts have speculated that Clark's influence on the WNBA has become so significant that any major decision involving her would have an immediate impact on viewership, ticket sales, and overall fan interest. Supporters have reportedly taken to social media in large numbers, expressing their support for Sophie Cunningham while backing Clark's reported stance. As public discussion continues to grow, reports claim league officials have become increasingly concerned about how the controversy has escalated. According to those reports, emergency meetings have allegedly been called, public relations teams are working around the clock, and officials are searching for a way to contain the growing backlash before it overshadows the season. The biggest questions remain unanswered. Will coach Stephanie White reportedly reconsider the alleged suspension? Will Caitlin Clark truly be willing to risk a historic season in order to stand beside one of her closest teammates? Those questions continue to fuel speculation across the basketball world. According to this dramatic narrative, the situation has grown far beyond wins and losses on the basketball court. It has become a story centered on loyalty, trust, sacrifice, and standing beside the people who have supported you through every challenge.
Well, we see Cheryl Reeve wearing a shirt today in support of trans kids. Trans kids belong on the shirt. This in the aftermath of Sophie Cunningham's recent comments. We actually saw Cheryl and Sophie speaking at center court pregame. And yesterday, Cheryl Reeve spent a lot of time talking at length with the media about this topic.
I would encourage anyone to go and listen to Cheryl Reeve's comments. Incredibly thoughtful, easy to find online.
I would encourage anybody to go see Cheryl Reeve's comments. By the way, Sophie did not look like she backed down from Cheryl Reeve. I've got more coming on all of this. This is right here. Sophie Cunningham, by the way, took a ugly elbow in this game, and the refs called the foul against her. Let's just look at this. Bam! Hit her right in the jaw. And the refs, they swallowed their whistles. I'd love to know why. Lynx defeated the Fever 108-100. And you could see the deficiencies in this team showed out. The bench is not deep enough. There's not enough length on this team. Again, we were saying that as free agency was going on. And then the draft, when it really blew up, and they took Raven Johnson instead of a big. And they got rid of Justine Passat. It felt like the Fever never had a chance in this game. And I was looking at the starting five for the Lynx. We got to realize that.
Now it's your turn, buddy, because this story has sparked a huge debate across the internet, and I want to hear your opinion. Do you believe Caitlin Clark would be right to risk her entire season to stand by Sophie Cunningham? Or do you think Coach Stephanie White would be justified if she made the decision to suspend the team's enforcer? Share your honest thoughts in the comments below and let everyone know where you stand on the controversy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button to show your support. Share this video with fellow basketball fans so they can join the conversation. and be sure to subscribe for more updates, breaking news, and the latest WNBA discussions. Thanks for watching, buddy. I'll catch you in the next video.